All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the NFL season. We got Thursday Night Football, week number 1 to jump into in today's video. I'm going to give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total, and then I have 3 player props that I'm leaning towards as well. But as always, keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we finally roll with in all of my final plays. If you do want to fade me, we might throw some ads or changes in there as well. So as always, keep an eye on that pinned comment. In terms of last year's NFL season, we did pick up a few units. We've had our best NFL season to date here on the channel, just under 36 units picked up, and the majority of those, I shouldn't say the majority, but a lot of those came in the Thursday Night Football video and the Monday Night Football video when we kind of look at one specific game. So I love the idea of diving into one specific game. But before we do get into this one, I kind of want to give you an idea of what we have coming out on the channel for the NFL season. So we'll have a specific video for Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football weekly. We also have a specific video for the Brazil game between the Packers and the Eagles this week, as well as H to H, the show that I do with Tassos, where we battle it out each and every week. And then we have Trey on the channel here. He's going to be doing a new NFL video as well. And then you're going to have my Sunday slate video as well. So I just said as well a lot because we have a crap ton of NFL videos coming out on top of all the MLB and WNBA content and college football videos that we're putting out. So tons of stuff to buckle up for. And speaking of that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I just told you all the stuff you're going to be getting for free. It costs nothing to hit that subscribe button. So go ahead and do that. But let's talk some NFL football. That feels weird to say. We got the Chiefs taking on the Ravens, and I want to start with the total in this one. The total sitting at 46 or 46.5, depending on where you can get it on your sportsbook. I like the 46.5 because I am going to lean towards the under, and I'm starting with the total here because it kind of cascades through to the rest of my plays here. But I like that under 46.5. First and foremost, we have 2 very good defenses and 2 offensive lines that are kind of meh, right? And I don't think that the Chiefs offense developed or got as good as some might say. I know there's a lot of reading into Rashee Rice getting even better than last year, or Worthy going to be a stud. Hollywood Brown is doubtful, so if he plays or doesn't, that's going to be a big impact as well. But overall, I do still think that we could see a Chiefs offense that was similar to last year, which they were not a barn-burning team last year, right? They won games based on their defense, and speaking of defense, that is in the Baltimore Ravens DNA. Now, Clowney and Queen aside, now that they're not on the team, I still think that this is a very good Ravens defense, the number 1 team last year in terms of points against, which how can you knock that, right? I guess even on that side, like the Chiefs were number 2. So in theory, you have the 2 best defenses from last year, if you use that metric as the main one, playing against one another. And we saw them go up against each other in the playoffs, right? It was a 17-10 game here. So I like the idea of both defenses showing up. Yes, I think that the Ravens got a little bit better offensively, but still, I wouldn't trust that offensive line with everything that I have, right? But they do have speed on the outside. They do have Derrick Henry. They still have Lamar Jackson. Same sort of things can be said about the Chiefs, but maybe not to the same extent. But overall, I'm trusting the fact that both of these defenses are better than any upgrades that the offenses made on the other side. And again, that last game that we have against one another, you kind of saw the defenses colliding, give each other tons and tons of issues on the offensive end. So I like the idea here of an under. And like I said, it kind of cascades through to the rest of my plays. So we'll talk about the spread now. Though I see a lot of people all over the Chiefs, I've seen plenty of, Ravens as well, but I am on that side. I'm going to be looking at the Ravens plus the 3 points. I will say I think I like the under more so than I do that plus 3, but in a close game, I think that having that field goal in your back pocket is going to be absolutely incredible. And like I said, I think the Ravens still have the better defense compared to the Chiefs. So you're giving me the better defense in a game in which I know it's an Arrowhead, but it's kind of like emotions flying high. Maybe teams take a little bit of time to settle. You're giving a field goal, the better defense, and in a spot in which, it is Arrowhead, but maybe everyone's kind of feeling funky, right? Like the Chiefs aren't in a groove playing at home right now. I think having this field goal in your back pocket is going to be pretty damn crucial. Overall, I think that the Ravens offensive upgrades are pretty damn good, highlighted obviously by Derrick Henry, but I would take getting Derrick Henry on your team as a smash mouth football team over, an aging Travis Kelce. Rashee Rice, not guaranteed yet to be what he was last year. banking on Xavier Worthy, banking on Hollywood Brown. Like, all of those with Patrick Mahomes at the helm will probably come true. But for night one, game number one, I think that, having what you had last year and just adding Derrick Henry to it, obviously a few guys missing, but adding Derrick Henry to it could be a pretty damn good situation. So especially with this being a potentially low scoring game, giving me 3 points, obviously kind of a good thing to have, again, in your back pocket. And 4 of the last 6 games they've played here have been decided by one score, so not necessarily 3 points, but within 6 or 7 points. So if that's going to be the case, again, I don't want to be on the side that has to cover by a certain amount of points. I'd rather be getting points as well. So leaning towards the under 46.5, as well as leaning towards Baltimore +3. Obviously, we have no current season data or anything to go off of, so this is all based on offseason acquisitions, hearsay, as well as what these two teams did last year and what we have to go off of. So as the season progresses, obviously we're going to have more data and more stuff to bring to the table. But as of right now, give me Baltimore plus the 3 points, as well as the total under 46.5. Now, like I mentioned, I do have a few player props that I want to jump into as well. But before we do that, let's talk about an absolute freebie of a player prop from Underdog Fantasy. If you have not checked out Underdog Fantasy yet, you are missing out on what could be a really, really, really fun app for you during the NFL season. And they have a free Travis Kelce square here. He should be able to at least get 1 catch for 1 yard, right, and hit the over. If you don't know what it is, you combine 2 or more player props into a slip. The more you get right, the more you get paid out. And they're dropping deals all week long. You could see for the Thursday night game, you're going to get a 30% profit boost on top of getting a free square in Travis Kelce. You're also going to get up to $1,000 in your first deposit as a bonus when depositing. So go ahead and check out Underdog Fantasy, guys. You've seen me posting it on the shorts, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm loving this app, and I'm super excited for the NFL season. We're going to be flying with a bunch of Underdog slips, so make sure you have the app to either tail or fade if you want to, but go check out this Travis Kelce free square. You get that 30% boost on Thursday, as well as, like I said, up to $1,000 in deposit bonuses when depositing today. So go ahead and check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment as well as the description. Let's jump into our first player prop here, and I already mentioned his name, and I'll already tell you guys, the 3 player props I have aren't exactly the sexiest of plays, but I do really like them. So we're going to jump into this one. It's going to be Derrick Henry over 13.5 for his longest rush. So you can see to close out last year, he did this in 6 of his last 10 games here. And I do think Derrick Henry is going to get his fair share of touches. Let's see, his rushing attempts right now is sitting at 16.5 for plus money. I wouldn't necessarily touch that, but just given the fact that there's thinking he could have 17 rushes, you give Derrick Henry a downhill runner with a chance here, 17 times to go and rush for 14 yards. I absolutely love that. This was a good defense in terms of last year for the Chiefs, but using Outlier, which, by the way, guys, if you want access to Outlier, this tool is going to be in the pinned comment as well. You get 7 days free. My favorite research tool out there, especially for player props. You'll see tons of it in this video as well as in future NFL videos. But you can see here, rushing yards last year, right? They were just tied for 17th. They had a really, really, really good pass defense. We're talking about the Chiefs, but rushing isn't exactly where they were great at. They were good at getting to the quarterback, second most sacks, QB hits second most, tied for third most QB hurries, tackles for loss, they were top 10. But again, this is Derrick Henry. If he hits one hole, he could take a run for like 10 yards and carry one defender for 4 more and cash the over. Right now, you can get this at MGM for -120. As the week progresses, you'll probably be able to take this on more and more books. But right now, Derrick Henry over 13.5 for his longest rush. I don't necessarily, like I already mentioned, want to touch his total or his rush attempts just because we don't see him in the offense yet, but using the idea that he's going to get around 16 carries, I like the idea of one of those 16 being able to go out there and crush us. You could see last year, 65%. He hit in 11 of 17 games. It's obviously a new regime, new team, everything like that, but I definitely do not mind it. And what I like to see here too, not many teams like this, but this is based on last year, Baltimore, in 601 plays passing, 599 running last year. They obviously like to give the ball off. And they really do feature the majority of one back. Now, Gus Edwards isn't there anymore. Neither is Keaton Mitchell. So Derrick Henry should at least slot right into this role and get nearly 40% of the carries at the bare minimum. The only other guy that's competing with him is Lamar Jackson, which say they do an option or something like that. Like, there's going to be attention on Lamar. So ground game wise, this is probably my favorite play of the week. Derrick Henry over 13.5 longest rush. Second up, we're looking at another Baltimore Raven here. I'm going to be looking at Justin Tucker. On his away games last year, he hit in his last 4 of his last 5 games, kicking 2 or more field goals. Again, I already mentioned that some of these plays are going to be I guess tied to the idea that we're looking at an under, which if you don't like the under, then yes, this could probably, hurt you, I guess. But even still, we're talking about overs for players, so maybe there's some correlation. But I like the idea of guys getting into the red zone and being stopped and having to rely on field goals here. You can see both of these teams, Kansas City on this side, tied for 8th when it comes to red zone efficiency. And the Baltimore, very good team last year, but like I mentioned, this is a very good Chiefs defense, and last time they played was a very low-scoring game. Now, Tucker only had, I believe it was get rid of that. He only had 1 field goal there, only 1 attempt, but how many times in the season did we really even see that at the back half, right? This guy was kicking field goals left and right. So I'm thinking Justin Tucker, especially in that sort of first game or something like that where teams just want to take the points. They're not pressing. They're not doing anything crazy. I like the idea of this. And he went 2, 3, 4 last 3 away games last season. So Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals is play number 2. There are the odds we're getting there. And again, we're recording this on Tuesday, so some books are going to open up these lines. You might have some more access to the best odds. I'll update you guys in the pinned comment. Now, our third and final pick. Same stat, different guy. Looking at Harrison Butker. This is a Baltimore team that allowed the top, top right here, top 6 or top 8 field goals to opposing kickers last season. He only had 1 in their last game as well, but look at how he closed out the year. 6, 2, 4, 2, 1, and 4. He cashed the over here in his last 5 games 4 times, averaging 2.6 field goals made. And just like the Chiefs, we flip this around using outlier. You can see the defense, red zone efficiency, the second best red zone defense efficient team in the entire league last season, meaning they're not going to give up a bunch of those chunk plays or anything like that. And the Chiefs, not a very red zone efficient team last year, offensively relying on the field goal plenty. So I like this spot. Harrison Butker at home, opening night in another spot where I think the teams are going to take their points. Seems like a good little move to me there. So just to recap there, guys, I like the under 46.5. I'm also leaning towards Baltimore plus 3.5, as well as Derrick Henry, longest rush over 13.5, and then both Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker. Do those rhyme? No, they don't rhyme, but they're close, right? They have an uck in there. Whatever. Both of those guys over 1.5 field goals made. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we ultimately end up rolling with. Hopefully we can be a little conservative and not just go out there and throw a bunch of bets in because it's night number 1, but who knows? I'm excited that the NFL's back. We're all sports betting. You can win, you lose, that type of thing. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 13. Yes, we're starting it off with lucky number 13 because you made it this far into the video, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. If you're new or an OG, hit that like button as well. I'm very excited for this NFL season. The channel has been killing it in terms of picks, whether it's me, Trey, or Tassos. We've been doing so well. Can't always promise that. I'm a dummy with a camera and a microphone, and I like the sports bet. You know what I mean? Can't always profit that we're going to go on these win streaks, but hopefully we can bring some winners for night number 1 of the NFL season. Check out Underdog again, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.